gaming industry is in serious trouble.
Verbal riot.
What's happening, guys? Welcome to the show. Man, I have been waiting to talk about this for a while now, but I've been just kind of taking a step back because I want to see kind of how all this is going to play out. And what am I talking about? Obviously, you guys clicked on the thumbnail. I'm talking about the gaming industry and just the state that it's in right now. Now, y'all know me from Film Threat. You know that I talk about movies. You know that I talk about TV, and that's just part of the industry that I'm in. But at my heart of hearts, man, my truest form, I am a gamer. I am a hardcore gamer. I've been gaming since the 80s. Okay. I've had pretty much every gaming console there's been, right? I started with the Atari 2600. I've had the 7800. I had the original Nintendo, the Sega Master System, the Sega Genesis. I mean, you name it, I had it. I think there was only maybe a few that I didn't have. And that's because they were a little bit more fringe, at least in my area. Like I never had the Neo Geo. I never had the ColecoVision. I don't think I ever had the Commodore either. So, but I've had every other gaming console you can name, and been gaming from then till now. To this day, I'm still gaming. You know, like last night, I was just in this huge Overwatch tournament, right? So for me, gaming is just a part of my life. It's always been a part of who I am. And so when I talk about this, I'm talking from the point of view of an actual gamer, not just somebody reporting on gaming. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on. And if you've been paying attention, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, you hear names like Sweet Baby Inc., you hear names like Kotaku, right? But this goes even deeper than that, guys. This is we're being infiltrated, or we've been infiltrated, I should say. This all started back, I would say around 2015, maybe 2016. Either way, this all started with Me Too. Okay, this started with Me Too, and out of Me Too was born Gamergate. Okay. Gamergate was this thing that was created by these three charlatans, these three grifters named Brianna Wu, Anita Sarkeesian, and I think Zoe Quinn. Yeah, definitely Zoe Quinn. And what happened was they saw an opportunity. Okay. They saw an opportunity with Me Too because Me Too was all about all men are bad, men are bad, men are rapists, men are, you know, whatever vile thing you can call a man, that's what a man is, right? And so it was their time. It was their time. It was the time for any female grifter to take their shot right then and there, and they took it. Those three ladies took it. So while men were the devil, what they were doing was they were being a very loud voice. You know, they were building their cult, okay, their disciples. And after that, they basically, not with a sledgehammer, but with a scalpel, slithered their way into our entertainment, right? Not just gaming, but movies, TV, anything that we enjoy, they slime their way into. But we're talking about gaming right now. So they slid their way into these companies. And it was very modest at first, right? Like we noticed little changes here and there, but nothing so big that it would make us not buy a game. You see what I'm saying? Because they didn't want to completely scare away these companies yet. Yet. But when gamers started paying attention, like really started paying attention to weird little things being thrown into their games, they started speaking up. Now, you guys have to understand, Gamergate was the whole point of Gamergate was the fact that these ladies were voicing frustration with being abused by male gamers online, right? They didn't like being called names. Which, if you're a gamer, especially if you're a guy, you know that we rag on each other all the time when we play games, right? We just do. We call each other all kind of crazy shit. I've been called the worst racist things by 13-year-olds playing Call of Duty online than I have ever heard anyone in real life speak, right? These are like 12-year-olds. And yeah, obviously, do I want to hear that? No, but at the same time, you know, we're gaming, right? So my joy is beating your ass so bad that you rage quit the game, right? That's my satisfaction. It's destroying you to the point where you no longer want to play the game. And that's how men interact with each other, right? That's how guys interact with each other when it comes to gaming. These ladies didn't like that because they felt like they're being targeted. They're being targeted. So again, flash forward now, they put themselves in these companies. So what do? They start basically threatening these companies. They start blackmailing these companies. Once the companies realized that they were starting to lose a little money on their agenda. And what's funny is it got to the point where they even had to talk about it. And I'm talking about the grifters. There's this one shot right here. Okay, so the co-founder of Sweet Baby Inc., Kim Blair, she basically is, and this was during a conference where she's teaching these women, basically, because that's what they are, women as simps, really, because they have their male simps for them as well. Um, she's teaching them how to blackmail gaming companies so that they will keep them or not make any changes that they've made to the game. This was their stronghold on companies. They would threaten them with being canceled, right? Being canceled by the woke mob. That was their whole strategy. And these companies, because they're cowards, they're all cowards. They buckled. They buckled. And they said, okay. And from then on, this is where we are. And like I said, it was subtle. Like we noticed a few changes here and there. But then it started getting a little bit more heavy-handed and more heavy-handed with certain games. And of course, these are all AAA titles here. I'm talking about the big games. To the point where gamers did start speaking up finally. Because it's like, okay, enough is enough. We're tired of this. But see, that's when these companies bought out these gaming journalists to fight for them, to call anyone who disagrees with what they're doing some kind of ist, right? Racist, uh, transphobe, homophobe, whatever, sexist, right? Especially sexist. They basically, that was their whole strategy for dealing with people like us who complain, is to put a label on us, right? And have their gaming journalists do the rest. Now, unfortunately, this is kind of during a time when I say a lot of gaming journalists had credibility. See, none of them do now, but back then they kind of did. So that was their way of kind of quelling the fire, but that wasn't enough. Nah. So what happened was they started getting emboldened to speak out themselves on platforms like Twitter to call us these things, right? I need to show you guys something because I want you to really understand the depth to where all of this garbage stems.
Now, for Validate, it's a pretty big team. It's a crazy big team for indie games. But who is your team? Validate has a team of mostly all people of color. We have no white people on our team. I did that because I wanted to create a safe environment. And I know the best way for an environment to be safe is to be around people who are just like me. And I'm not saying that white people in the industry are creating unsafe environments. I'm not saying that. That is not what
That's
I'm
exactly
saying.
what she's
I'm
saying.
saying that sometimes it is hard to work with white people because they think that something may be okay, but it was really a microaggression. And no one wants to deal with that while they're trying to make a game that they love.
God, I hate that term microaggression so much. But anyway, no, that's exactly what she was saying. That white people make her feel unsafe and will make her team feel unsafe. I want you guys to imagine a white person saying that, right? A white man or a white woman saying they only hire whites because them Negroes make them feel unsafe. I want you guys to think about how this sounds, right? And she said it with her whole chest, right? Like she said it like this is what it is. She wasn't even hiding it, right? Like I said, they're emboldened now to say things like that out loud. I don't hire white people. Now, what's funny is she tried to take it back. Like she went on this whole, spiel on Twitter or X, like tweets about how what she really meant by that video. Like we couldn't see it with our own eyes. What she literally just said, right? She did like seven or eight tweets about what she really meant. And the reason why she did that is because some of her old white coworkers that she used to work with, that they thought they were all friends, they all called her out on it, right? Making her look really bad. And that's why she went on this apology tour. Now, I'm sorry, I forgot to give you guys the name of this lady. I believe it's Danny Lalanders. Sorry, Danny Lalanders, who I believe, and I might be wrong on this, I believe she's with Sweet Baby Inc. But these were the words that came out of her mouth. By the way, she got rid of her Twitter. Got rid of it. Got rid of her whole account. Like they literally dragged her off of Twitter. And who knows if she's even hireable again after this. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, these are the people who are lodging their war against us. Because if we say anything, we are the problem. Men, by the way, men are the problem. See, men are the problem because of our male gaze, right? We're so sexist that we only want to satisfy our cravings, right? Our lustful cravings. So a lot of the games now, if you haven't noticed, at least with American games anyway, the part of their campaign against the despicables is to modernize the way women look in games. To change the way women look at games, to make them look more realistic, right? And they caught a lot of flack with this because of the recent Spider-Man game, Spider-Man 2 for PS5, where Mary Jane, understand Mary Jane in the comic book of Spider-Man is a supermodel. She's a supermodel. And the running gag in Spider-Man in the comic is the fact that, you know, Peter Parker married outside of his league or out of his league. You know what I mean? Like he married so far up that that's the joke of their relationship. She even reminds him of how how far out of her league that she was for him, right? That was Mary Jane. Gorgeous, beautiful Mary Jane. So then then the Spider-Man game comes along. And let me pull it up for you. And this is what Mary Jane looks like now. Now, you notice the lady to the left, that's the model that they used for supermodel Mary Jane. Look, I'm sure she's a nice enough lady in real life, and she's probably a sweetheart. But Peter Parker, that wouldn't be out of his league. In fact, he would probably need like a couple of beers to even hook up with this woman. But that's supermodel Mary Jane. But of course, in the game, she's not a supermodel because that's too sexist. So I think she's a photographer. See, that's how they change things. Yeah, that is that's see, and this is kind of what's fed this movement is men complaining against stuff like this. But even then, that was the Mary Jane thing was kind of like that wasn't the final straw. It was actually a game called Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. That was the final straw. And the reason why I believe that was the final straw wasn't because of how they made Harley Quinn look, because they want to keep making it about looks. It's not about that. It's about respect. It wasn't about they wanted to say that, remember complaining about the way Harley looks. Instead, what we were complaining about was the fact that they're taking these legendary characters that, again, my whole issue with current day geek culture is the fact that they're not really fans. They're not. Because fans know history. When I read comics in the 90s, I was also reading comics from the 60s, from the 50s, from the 70s. You feel what I'm saying? I knew my history. These aren't real fans. They're claiming to be, but they're not. What we were pissed about with this Justice League game was the fact that you're taking these legendary characters that we have loved for years. Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, Flash, hell, even Aquaman. And you were giving them the most disrespectful deaths by this team of goofballs, right? They killed the Flash. And then the scene right after that is Captain Boomerang about to piss on him. And then a whole running dig joke after that. The way they killed Batman, just Harley Quinn shooting him in the head, Harley Quinn beating Batman. This was goofy. But here's the thing. The one person, the whole point of the game was Brainiac has taken over the minds of the Justice League, right? So the Justice League is bad because Brainiac has control of them. So Amanda Waller calls in the Suicide Squad to stop the Justice League, right? To kill the Justice League. So this is why, they were fighting each other in the first place. No, the one character they give the most respectful death to is, and you probably guessed it already, was Wonder Woman. Why? Because she's a woman. She was the one who, didn't, bow down to Brainiac. She's the one who died saving everybody, right? The one Justice League character. The one. Also the only woman on the team in this situation. See, we were pissed about stuff like that. And so much so, I have never seen a game, a AAA game, a Rockstar game. I'm not Rockstar. Who am I thinking of? Rocksteady. I'm sorry, a Rocksteady game that failed this hard. I'm talking about the game came out in February, and I've already seen it slashed in price about 4 or 5 times now. No one's buying this game. No one wants this game. And I think that was the final straw for a lot of people, because that's when all hell broke out. That's when the Sweet Baby Inc. Situation was exploded. And Sweet Baby Inc., by the way, guys, are the ones they're the developers for these games. They're the blackmailers, basically. They're the blackmailers I just talked about. So Sweet Baby Inc. went on this like media rampage, right? And what I mean by that is they, like I said, they also implanted the gaming journalists. So the gaming journalists are basically, they work for these woke companies. That's what all these gaming journalists do, including IGN. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into that, but that's what they do. And they went on a full attack. They went on a full attack on Twitter, right? About, how disgusting we are, and how, they're righteous, and they're this and that, and blah blah blah. And their main weapon in all of this, at least for them on their side, was this outlet called Kotaku, who, if you're a gamer, you know who they are. They've been garbage for a long time. People are just now realizing it, but they've been garbage forever. But Kotaku is like the wokest gaming rag, right? They honestly, though, didn't used to be. There was a time when Kotaku was just about the games. They had some bad takes, but it was all game related. They were not like this woke thing that they become. So that's kind of wild to me that this is the direction that Kotaku went into. But anyway, I'm gonna come back to that. So Kotaku sucked, they sick their dogs on us and were calling us all kind of names, and basically to the point where it was like all out war on Twitter, right? Back and forth, and gamers speaking against them, this and that, this and that. But see, then that video came out, right? Of that whatever her last name is, I just showed you. And it all started sinking in. And it's making them look really bad. And so all of a sudden, Kotaku freaked out, and they're like, "Well, it looks like Sweet Baby Inc. is going down." Right? And let me also, before I do that, I know I'm kind of skipping all over the place here because, guys, this is a lot to cover, man. It's a lot. So the reason why Sweet Baby Inc. is getting the heat that they're getting, because remember I said they went after us, right? Well, it was more than just articles. Okay, like basically they were once we caught on to to how bad Kill the Justice League game was, people started talking, right? And then there's this one gamer, I'm trying to remember his name. I had it written down. It's Cub. Hold on. I'm sorry, guys. Like his name is really weird, man. It's Cabrutus. Cabrutus. And Cabrutus, if you're watching this, I apologize. It was just hard reading that for me right now for some reason. But anyway, a gamer named Cabrutus made a list on Steam of all the games that Sweet Baby Inc. was involved in. Right? That's all he did, was he made a list, he put it out there. What they did then through Kotaku was they doxed this guy. They doxed him, got his information, put it out there. Like they made it a personal attack on this guy. Now, thankfully, this guy is benefiting from all this because he's actually a good guy. And I'm glad he put that list together. And by the way, he just said these are games I wouldn't buy. Like he wasn't like he didn't launch a campaign against them. But they took it so personal, and by doing that made them look so bad by doxing somebody, and the fact that they stood by the person, and I believe her name was Alyssa Mercanti, right? Yeah, Alyssa Mercanti. She was the main culprit in all of this, but she basically doxed this guy, and then Kotaku stood by her because she's a writer for Kotaku. Kotaku stood by her, right? But her connection with Sweet Baby Inc. They basically it was kind of like this perfect storm of everything just kind of folding in on each other. But they stood by her and didn't fire her even after she docked somebody, which is illegal. It's illegal. So then people went after Kotaku hard. So bad, so I'm sorry, so bad that they decided to change their whole format. Right? They're going to be, because they've done this before where they did like these gamer guides, whatever, and but along with the articles, right? No, no, no. Now they are literally just becoming a gamer guide magazine. No articles, no social, no political bullshit, just that. And the people involved in Kotaku, the woke ones, the ones that infiltrated, remember I keep using that word infiltrate, the ones that slithered their way in are now resigning. They're quitting because they can't push their message anymore, right? Because that's what they're there for, to push the message. The Jen Glennon is her name. Jen Glennon was, I believe, the editor in chief of Kotaku, who just resigned because she's angry at the direction they're going in. Right? She's angry that they're no longer preaching the message. So she's going to find another rag that will. Guys, like this see, I get frustrated with this because I've said this before and I'll keep saying it. We fight with our money. We vote with our money. We the things we can't say or physically do, our money does. You get what I'm saying? If we don't support these companies, if we don't buy their games, go see their movies, they're going to flop. And flop so hard, people will start losing jobs. See, ESG only protects them so much. See, BlackRock and Vanguard, who is not even a secret anymore, who own the world for the most part, see, they can only keep backing these losing companies so much. So what's going to happen is maybe these companies won't go completely bankrupt, but they're going to have a lot of layoffs. They're going to lose a lot of people, and that's when the shit's going to start. But that's how we take them down. We take them down by not giving them our money. We're seeing it happen. We're already seeing it happen with a lot of the film industry right now, actually. But we got to keep speaking with our money here because, look, I'll be honest. I already said I'm probably not going to buy another new game this year. I'm not going to. I have a lot of backlog games that I haven't played, to my shame. Games I bought when I was probably high, or uh, I just had an impulse buy. But I have a lot of games I haven't played, and you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna play those games this year. I'm not gonna spend one more dime on gaming. I'm not saying you have to take my extreme approach, guys, but if you are going to buy a game, let me encourage you to look at some of the indie titles out there, man. Just like Chris Gore and Alan Ing push independent film on Film Threat, I'm going to push independent games because support the little guy, man. Support these little companies that aren't trying to be woke. Right now I'm playing this fun game called Cult of the Lamb, and it's basically about how to start your own cult. But you know what? It's fun, man. It's a fun game. I enjoy it. Does it have the best graphics? No, but the graphics are really cool, and I love the animation. Support these independent gamers or independent gaming companies, or play old games that you haven't played yet, or even games you have played but you want to play again. Just make this a year of making these companies feel what they're doing. You know what I mean? Anyway, guys, that's my video for today. I had to talk about this just because it's not just a hot topic, man. It just really does affect us gamers. It affects us in a big way, and I'm tired of us being disrespected, basically. So, guys, sub to the channel. Please support that way. Greatly appreciate it. Like the video. Those are also cool. And follow me on X. Follow me on X and Twitter. I still can't call it X, but anyway, follow me on X, and I'll talk to you soon.